Good evening. I'm Damien Priest, and Twitch says we are streaming, which is a bonus. It's a good start. This is DC Universe Online, the role-playing game, the MMO role-playing game of punching people for justice. We're going to start this game by creating a new character. I do have several characters already, but I'm going to build a new one because DC Universe Online has recently undergone a considerable rebuild. They've changed just about everything worth changing, and rebuilt just about everything that can be rebuilt. About the only thing that's the same about the game are some of the missions and the graphics. And I think the graphics got an update. So, right now we have a choice between female or male character. Man, does he look angry. Yeah, we're gonna go with a female character because if nothing else, they don't look like they were built in a prune factory. Monarch medium, that's about the average person by, for some bizarre reason, they don't name their, character builds by anything useful. They call them Monarch, Sprite, and Mesa for some reason, as opposed to, you know, Buff, Normal, and Tiny. Sprite is more your, Sprite is small and thin. Monarch is medium-sized by comic standards. And Mesa is your big and buff girl. Your She-Hulk of the DC Universe. Whatever that might be. Wonder Woman, I guess. Big Barda, maybe. Something like that. But we are going to go for Monarch Medium. And
select exobyte download type. Create a custom configuration or imprint using data from an Earth hero or villain.
yeah, you can basically just slap buttons and grab a default character based on one of the heroes and villains of the DC Universe. So, you know, if you wanted to play the Joker's little sister, you could do that. But we are going to build a custom character.
Select a hero or villain morality.
And it will be a hero. This game, of course, was built back when people were still operating on the World of Warcraft concept, where you had to have a good side and a bad side, or a red side and a blue side, whatever that might mean. So instead of putting all their development efforts into the same channel that all the players would experience, they split them up between hero and villain. Not necessarily bad, just trickier to deal with. For our sakes, we're going to go hero.
Select a personality to determine social behavior.
Personalities are basically just how your character walks and stands. Unfortunately, some of the animations involved don't work all that well with certain gear and with certain items. And don't look very good if they're maintained for longer than a few seconds. So we're simply going to go with powerful, which is the default animation.
Select a mentor as a guidelines for data application.
A mentor is basically your mission path. For heroes, there are three: Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman. On Wonder Woman, well, I'm trying to escape these special effects right here, or at least the sounds, but it doesn't look like I can. Alright, Wonder Woman deals with magical enemies. So you're going to fight like Circe, the sorceress, and Faust, the necromancer, and all sorts of other magical goodness. Superman is basically comic book standard. You want to beat up on giant talking apes? Go Superman. Batman is Batman, so we'll pick Batman.
Select power group from available exobyte data to determine combat role.
Alright. Powers is a big thing that got changed recently in the revamp. There's a lot of powers here that I don't have because they're pay-for powers. Oh well, I'll live. The important thing is that one power that I found interesting, Nature, received a considerable revamp because, quite frankly, it didn't know what it wanted to do. It was like 6 different power archetypes. It's where the healer is, where the, it was a healer, it was a debuffer, it was a controller, and it was the shape-shifting tree for some reason. I guess because green. Green is nature, right? Any case, that's been redone, and I don't know how well the revamp has turned out for Nature. So let's find out.
Select movement mode.
Alright, another thing is how you move. There are 3 main movement powers. There's flight, there's acrobatics, and there's super speed. Flight is the most practical of the bunch, but it's, I won't say slow, but it's not the fastest, and it's quite frankly a little dull. Acrobatics is basically Batmaning around. You have a zip line, you run really fast, you jump and climb off everything, that sort of thing. And super speed is interesting. It's not just running fast. Super speed is also doing those huge jumps like in the Matrix. It's your super jumping power as well. Which is, it can be very fun in practice, but you kind of have to trust the power. You can't do that one manually, really. Otherwise, you'll just faceplant into everything. But because super speed is one of the more fun powers, we're going to go with that.
Select weapon specialties from available data.
Now, besides your superpowers proper, you can also beat people up in a variety of physical toe-to-toe ways. You got Hand Blast, which is just shooting people with energy blasts from your hands. It could be because you have a device that shoots energy blasts, or because you can get costume pieces for, or because, you know, you're just capable of shooting energy blasts because you're super-powered badass. One-handed is small one-handed weapons like swords, axes, that sort of thing. Staff is hitting people with various sticks. Pretty fun. Good for the mage set. Dual wield is 2 swords, 2 knives, 2 sticks, whatever you've got. Two-handed is for the big guns. Big, heavy hammers, slapping people around with 2x4s, telephone poles, the better part of a bus, that sort of thing. Martial arts. Martial arts uses weapons, but it doesn't have to. You can also turn off the weapon costume pieces and just go barehanded. It's basically punching people really fast with a lot of acrobatic stuff involved. Dual pistols is pretty self-explanatory, although it does have an interesting thing where you basically stand your ground and start pointing each pistol in different directions to shoot people down. It gets very equilibrium up ends. Bow is, of course, one of the silliest concepts in comics, and that's saying something, where you run around fighting with a very awkward, delicate weapon and a limited supply of very awkward, delicate ammunition. And brawling is punch time. There's also rifle and shield. Rifle's pretty self-explanatory. Shield is Captain America-ing around, although in the DC universe, I believe Wonder Woman uses a shield these days. Something sorting people, not good for villain retention. We're going to go with brawling. Because, well, you know, it's classic. Just giving people a good punch to send them on their way.
Display exabyte download summary. Appearance options now available. Modify any category as desired. Accept download when ready.
Alright, this is where things get interesting. Their character customization system is not entirely obvious, nor is it all that great. This game, however, is built on the idea of costumes pieces. Basically, you punch the clothes off your enemies and take it for yourself. As you play, you gain a considerable wardrobe, and you can shift into any piece of that wardrobe at any time. Stats don't matter. It simply takes the stats of whatever you're really wearing and just throws the new skin on top of it. So, you can dress up however you want, whenever you want, as much as you want, as long as you found the right person and punched their hats off. Let's start with body. Skin, human skin. We have a lot of options in this respect. I mean, we could even make a tiger person. Or undead. Or glowing. Or lava. But we're going to go down here to cheerful. No, we're not going to go to cheerful. That's terrifying. We're not going to do that. Let's go to youthful, though. That looks a little bit happier than the adult one without looking, let's say stretched in the wrong places, as the cheerful appearance does. One of the flaws of their system is that expression is basically part of the skin. So you have to change your entire skin and not be a cat girl anymore to have a smile on. Go figure. We'll work on hair too. Sadly, their hair options are not arranged in a useful or even alphabetical manner. So you basically just have to swipe through them to figure out what's what. So let's just take a peek through these options here. We're going to be operating in Gotham City, which means I'm looking for a fairly realistic look. So let's see, we have a swept back ponytail. Oh, that should do us for now. Like anything, your haircut's a skin, so you can slap them in your wardrobe and change them out later. Alright, now here's why the thing is kind of weird. Or the character creation system is kind of weird. If I hit next right here, it basically just moved me on to starting my character. Instead, I want to go back. And that takes me back to the costume main menu. And that's where I can start adjusting other things. Now, this is a fresh character just out the gate. So I'm not sure about what kind of costume we want on her. But I do know something. Glasses is cute. So we're going to put a set of business glasses on her. As for the rest, I'm not really sure. I don't know what I want her to be right now, but that's okay. Like all good comic stories, it starts off inside a stasis pod in an alien spaceship. So what we're going to do is, let's go with just a basic suit for now. Actually, no. Let's go with something, well, normal. Let's go with something mundane. So let's see what we can find here. Schoolyard, sure, why not? Wow, she fills that out pretty good, don't she? Back, we don't need anything on the back. But, you know, let's put a backpack on. That's cute, right? Hands, don't need anything on the hands. Waist. Let's lose the waist right now. Or rather, let's lose the item on the waist right now. We can put it back, but the reason why is because I want to see what's going on in that area for doing her pants and stuff. Let's see, briefs, no. Business, oh, that's possible. Certainly a possible choice. Formal, that's possible as well. Jeans are nice. Jeans are pretty normal. Let's go with jeans. Okay, and for our feetsies, we're going to want just normal casual shoes. That looks normal and casual. Alright. Here we go. Let's have a, it looks like a pretty normal college girlish type affair, doesn't it? A little school uniformy, maybe a little on the nose with those curves, but a little past the nose, I should say. But, you know, close enough. So, that should be good. And again, we'll want to go back, and we'll want to go to back instead of next, because we have another step. Colors. DC Universe uses a color palette system. It gives you a couple base colors and then simply colors everything you're wearing according to those. Makes it fairly easy to match things, but also limits exactly how kaleidoscopic you can be. On the other hand, they recently added an extra color to that palette, so maybe that works out. Let's go with skin first. I'm not very fond of the olive tone she has. Let's cancel that and skin. Go to her real skin. For some reason, it kind of has a bug where it doesn't quite know what your skin setting is. But we're going to make her a little pale. Because I like him a little pale. Because I am a little pale. I'm actually a lot pale. I actually have a paneled wall behind me because if I didn't, people would come in and not be able to see me against it. Okay, and hair. Let's make her hair. Oh, let's get her hair in the shot first. Let's red up her hair, shall we? Not quite that neon red. Let's go with a... Okay. The slider system here is kind of interesting, especially since in the actual game you can adjust these based on straight RGB values. Which is, of course, the superior way of doing things. Also, you may hear some interesting things outside because we appear to be going into a storm where I am. And we'll go with that. That looks good, don't it? Nice pale skin, nice dark red hair. Eyes. She's a redhead, so she's going to have green eyes. And those are pretty nuclear, so we'll tone it down just a wee bit. There we go. That darkens that up. Okay, eye, skin, hair, makeup. We're not going to put any makeup on her right now. Makeup's also a channel used for some other weird special effects and stuff, like glowing runes on your skin and things like that, but we don't have any of that, so not to worry. And gear. Alright, let's build our gear palette. Well, we're in Gotham, so we're going to have a very, we're going to have a somewhat somber palette, I think. First off, we're going to give ourselves a black. We're not going to go fully black, however. We're going to go with a light charcoal. Well, a dark charcoal. Because if we go fully black, then details just disappear, and nobody wants that. We're also going to go with a white. Again, not a full white, because that eats details. But a white enough. Let's put it right there. As for the rest, let's go with a, I don't know, let's go with a green, because plant stuff, right? And we are a plant controller. I don't want a too terribly bright green. I want a dark olivey green. There we go. And we have a fourth color, which I think we can probably just get away with a gold of some kind. That looks good. Again, we don't want it to be too bright. Okay. And now that we actually have those colors out, we got to put them somewhere. Our glasses are going to be... Well, we could make them gold. But we're going to make them black. We don't have an emblem. We do have a chest. Okay. As soon as I can grab my character and turn her around so we can see said chest. I mean, at a decent angle. Meh. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Okay. And we'll give her a nice green vest. And we'll make the rest of it black. As for her back, let's accept and then get her in full bore so we can actually see her. Okay, bring that out and let's try again. Let's make her backpack black with green. That looks pretty good, don't it? I think that looks pretty good. No hands, no waist. Legs. Well, we could go with green pants, but I don't think so. And yeah, this is bright, but we can darken it down later. As it turns out, different clothing options, different costume pieces, have different brightness scales for their various sections, as well as different textures and how they handle whites and blacks. It's a little bit annoying for us costumers. Makes it hard to get something that matches entirely. So we're just going to go with black pants that have white or silver buttons. And let's go with feet. And we're just going to give her black shoes with white soles because for some reason we can't alter the color of the soles. Perm. Or the laces. Probably for the best on that one. So now we have our very conservative looking Gotham University student who probably was not expecting to wake up in a stasis tank on board an alien spaceship. But these things happen.
Download successful.
Now comes the hardest part of character creation. We need to give her a name. Do I have any name suggestions from the home viewers? Anyone? We'll give a few seconds for that. Because otherwise I'm going to use something like Garden Gal or Bamboo Babe or something. Because she's fast. She goes fast. You know, like bamboo grows fast. Okay, apparently the response from the home viewers was to, my view count went down. Spectacular. Okay. In that case, and it is raining outside. I happen to live in a place where rain is a rare and miraculous event. So that's interesting. I expect the power to go out at any moment. And we're just going to start game.